headed about 3 hours, yeah. What's up, Praxis? Going balloon hunting? Yeah. No, the balloon already passed over Kansas City, from what I understand. So yeah, that part, I think it's already made its way past me. I didn't go out looking for it. I guess I could have. That'd probably been a pretty cool stream. I don't have a camera that can do zoom anymore. Yeah, going on up for, if you guys recall, I was already up in Minnesota last weekend to snowmobile, but now I'm going back up to go to a friend's birthday party, and also meet up with another buddy, Nuge, one of the mods in chat. I have dinner with him on, tomorrow, and drive back tomorrow, so it's going to be a quick turnaround. North Carolina, yeah. Kind of going all over the place. What was it? Dang it, already. Service is going to suck out here, so please let me know if we lose service. Yeah, so it's been, didn't get determined as some civilian aircraft. Supposedly, China came out and said, "Hey, sorry, it's civilian aircraft." Blah blah blah. Or some weather balloon or something. I don't know. I haven't paid much attention to it. Seems like a lot of hype. Maybe it's a lot more dire than or sinister in nature. I don't know. I gotta believe that if it was in any way, again, sinister in nature, that the U.S. military would have shot it down or took care of it a long time ago. Surely we're not that incompetent. I mean, I know we're pretty incompetent at times, but hopefully we would not be that incompetent. Like, we were worried, like, they were actually doing surveillance over some military bases, something like that. Then yeah, we would have addressed it. But I don't really think so. They knew about that. They knew about that aircraft way before it ever hit the news. I would hope, but I could be wrong. Crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened. Satellites on it are 3 buses. Satellites? I know there's satellites on it. Hey, what's up, Jacob? Good to see you, man. Speaking of aircraft, I spent the majority of the past several hours listening to YouTube videos on rockets, rocket propulsion, and different technology, all the technologies that go into making a rocket go. It's pretty incredible. I don't know, there's something so inspiring, at least me personally, watching rockets take off. And all the technology, I mean, it's the pinnacle of man's achievement in the science, and just, I don't know, it's just pretty freaking awesome, pretty cool to see. I hope one day to be able to see a launch in person. I've had an opportunity to go here last month. I wasn't able to make it, but one of these days I want to make it down to Florida, watch a couple launches. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I actually get to the point where I don't mind driving, because when you got, it's not been too bad traffic wise. It's been a weekend, so not a lot of cars on the road, but it's an opportunity to learn about stuff. That's one thing great about podcasts and all that kind of thing, is It's like going to school. Yeah, Dr. WD-40's down there. Nax is down there. There's several streamers out that do a lot of stuff with filming, or recording and watching all those launches. I'm getting hot. I gotta take this off. Yeah, by the way, did anyone? I remember growing up. I think a movie that I just thought was one of the coolest movies ever that I watched I watched quite a bit when I was a kid. I haven't watched it in a long time. But who here remembers watching October Sky? You guys remember that show with Jake Gyllenhaal? That was a really good movie. I need to watch that again. Basically, some high school students that got together and started experimenting, sending rockets up, and they ended up discovering some better ways to launch. And anyhow, just really cool movie. That was pretty awesome. Too young for that. Oh, that wasn't that old. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal was in it. I mean, he was a kid. I plan to, Jackie. I plan to. I mean, honestly, I think that's something that, if I had kids, I would absolutely be taking them down there to watch that stuff. I think that's just so cool. That'd be an awesome field trip. I would love that. I would love that. Just spent a whole week going to Space Museum and all the different expos, or the science centers down there, and then watching a launch. I mean, that would be so cool. Do you ever just always stay home and have a lazy day? I mean, my definition of lazy is probably different than your guys' definition of lazy. I do have lazy days, but lazy days just entail going to the gym, going to work, taking care of stuff, and not climbing a tower or something. Like, that's my definition of a lazy day. But I haven't had a lazy day in quite a while. It's any day that goes by in which I'm not productive, and it's a double-edged sword. I feel guilty about it, right? It's a missed opportunity, right, to get something done, to learn something, to accomplish something, to become better somehow, some way. And so I feel like if I get through a whole day of just being stupid lazy, which again, especially when I'm sick, honestly, that's one thing that kills me, being sick. When you just don't have energy or the strength to do anything worthwhile. That I get stupid guilty. And which, on the plus side and positive side of things, it makes me super productive. Like I'm relatively speaking, I still think I could be even more productive than I am. A lot more productive. It's kind of, a lot of people probably wouldn't say this, but I feel so many times I feel like a lazy person because I see what potentially I could be doing more than what I'm already doing. So big rut, yeah. I don't know about that. Don't know if I'll be able to settle down. Heard the YouTube short CPM is 6 cents per 1,000 views. 1,000 views, 6 cents. Well, that's not very many. Right? So you get 100,000 views. That's $6 per 100,000. That's $60 for a million. 600 if you get something to 10 million. So you get 10 million views on something, you get $600. I guess it's not bad as long as you're constantly putting out content, which I need to start doing. I need to start doing a lot. Again, case in point, I I could probably juice out another hour, 30 minutes, maybe to an hour every day, in which I just focus on posting YouTube shorts and stuff like that, and I don't do it, and so I feel guilty about it, and so I do need to do it though. How could you feel like such a lazy person can do so much? Yeah. Again, it's because I'm constantly measuring myself up against discretionary and I'm constantly measuring my time, right? What's up, Nick? Copy that, track days. Yeah, that's not very much. Did your parents steal this hike, or was it self-imposed? I think self-imposed. My parents let me put it this way. I mean, both my parents are very productive individuals. Very productive. Whether it was, my dad maintained his athletic pursuits, although you couldn't tell by looking at him, but my dad was a near professional racquetball player, did that, did golf. He had always things he was trying to better himself at. Work-wise, he's self-employed, started several very successful companies. My mom is always moving, always doing something, whether it's, taking care of the house, of course. I grew up eating home-cooked meals every day, but, now that all the kids are out of the house and, she watches the grandkids, she gardens, she cooks for so many other people. She's really involved in her church community. So it's constantly doing things there, constantly traveling, doing stuff. So it's like, I don't know if it was so much self. I mean, it's not like they were pushing us to be, I guess I shouldn't say that. My dad was pretty big about, hey, don't waste all your time playing games. Get out, do stuff. But as far as where I spend my time, other than playing piano, my parents were pretty good about keeping me. They had reasonable high expectations of me, like continue to practice piano because they were paying for lessons. So I started taking piano lessons when I was 7, and I did that until I was like 16. Then I started martial arts about 13, 14 years old. Now that I didn't want to do myself, and 5 days a week, I wanted to go to martial arts. No one had to push me to do it. Same thing with like going to work. I started working at 13. I started working full time during summers at 13 years old, doing home remodeling for another one of my friends' dads, and painting and doing a lot of intensive labor stuff. It's funny, chat. I still don't know how to turn off the notifications on my phone. Maybe I hit the switch here. There we go. But yeah, my grandpa also same thing. Super productive. He was working and mowing lawns into his 70s and just doing everything. Always doing handyman work. So I had a lot of, and then even in the church I grew up at, I didn't really kind of think about this until later in life. But so I had 2 really close best friends in all through church when I was a kid, and their dads were self-employed, and I worked for both of them at some point. So they were like a lot, and and then going to karate school, and generally in martial arts, people voluntarily are engaging in that type of activity to make themselves better, right? So I was just surrounded by lots of motivated men. I think that was including my family that were, that was the norm. What's up, Paul? It's good to see you, bud. So, yeah, it's not like my parents were like, I was watching a video of these, a clip of, I can't remember what it was. It was basically some kind of live reality TV show about these super strict parents, and they had like their every minute of every day of their 6-year-old daughter like regimented, and it was like, holy frick, to the point where I'm like, yeah, that kid's gonna grow up to hate you. I mean, they might be well accomplished, but they're not gonna be happy, and they're gonna hate you later in life. So there's that. We're gonna do some fun shiznit today. So yeah, going to the birthday party, and then I think or open house thing, and then I think later we're supposed to go to a distillery, then stay the night, and then driving back tomorrow. And on my way back home tomorrow, I'm gonna meet up with Nuge, one of the mods, for dinner. Yeah. Heard we're balloon hunting? No, not balloon hunting. But yeah, near going to Minneapolis, Minnesota. No, the balloon has already passed over the Midwest. Apparently, it is now over North Carolina. So I missed my opportunity to shoot it down. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. One, you can't. Nothing you have is going to be able to reach it. But two, it's also extremely illegal and dangerous. That bullet's got to come down somewhere. So don't do that. Speaking of which, it was funny. I was on. There's a local community page of people complaining about drones flying over their property, whatever. And they didn't know whose it was, and people were commenting saying, you know, well, if I see a drone flying over my property, I'm shooting that down. Don't do that. Extremely illegal. You could end up in federal prison. Yeah, don't do that. You don't own the airspace above your property. So just keep that in mind. If you have concerns about something, just call local authorities, but do not, repeat, do not shoot it down. Yeah, you can go to prison. So yeah, missed opportunity. You did. Just to see it. What's up, Colby? So yeah, just driving to Minnesota. Like I said, I got about less than 3 hours left. And listening to all these videos and talks about rockets. It's been fun and interesting. It's been stimulating. I will say though, I've had to stop and piss like 4 times. I've been going to the rest stops. I just run in, run out. I woke up this morning. I think I'm going to start doing this a lot more consistently. But man, when you wake up and you have a decent sized apple and a protein shake, man, I've been up since 7. I'm not really that hungry. I feel good. I just extremely hydrated. I've been sipping the same energy drink all morning because I didn't want to drink so much because caffeine is a natural diuretic. So it will make you piss on top of being already being hydrated. So, Colby, frick, no joke. You know, it's funny because my sister, she's like, I've been coaching my whole family. It's like, hey, you need to be putting money away in the stock market. Like, now's the time to get into the stock market. We're at a very depressed state, you know, and things are probably going to only go up from here. There might be some more ebbs and flows, but now's a good time, man. So my sister, they went ahead and maxed out whatever their contribution. She's just handing me her phone. She's like, hey, just invest it for me. So I do like I think I'm doing a 40-40-20 split. I'll do, or maybe 45-45-10 split, where it's like I'll do 45% in SPY, 45% in VU, and then 10% or 20% in Tesla, and I just been letting it ride. And yeah, needless to say, their portfolios are doing really well right now, because I did that about a month ago. I was all wells for myself. So yes, Paul, our gym 3 times a week, and jiu-jitsu, of course. My shoulders and chest get bigger. Paul, you need to bench a bit more, and I got a bunch of large Arc'teryx shirts to give you, and I need to go all to XL, because I only have one XL Arc'teryx shirt. All my other shirts are large, and when I got this pattern on here, it looks like, I love them, I love the fit, but it looks almost too small for me. But yeah, man, if you end up, you start benching 350, 400, and you get a little bigger in the shoulders, maybe. I mean, you're already a big guy for your size, but I got a bunch of large Arc'teryx shirts to give you. So I'm starting to squeeze. I haven't popped a button yet, but I'm getting close. So anyhow, I need to jump on Poshmark and see if I can find a few more XL Arc'teryx shirts, because I love these shirts. I mean, I wash them, and I always hang dry them, and they're lasting well, they wear well, and I can go business casual, and you know, hell, I even wear them as a working shirt, but I don't want to wear them out. I don't want to get them dirty. But yeah, I love these shirts, man. It just sucks they don't make them anymore. There should be a small correction on the corner. Ours has come up there. Yeah, probably so. But I'll have to check out the Alaho. I do have that other green shirt that was a button-down Arc'teryx that was a large, and it fits even tighter. I might have to get rid of that one, so I might give that to you next time I see you next month, because it's a little bit small for a large. It might fit you really well, but it's that OD green one. I don't think it was an Alaho though. Yeah, this is my favorite. This is my favorite shirts. This dark one. What's up, Deez? I'm tempted to buy this stupid wax trucker. It keeps on popping up. I searched for it once, and now it's on every ad on every social media platform I go on. But I was looking up the Last of Us cast or something like that, and one of the articles was the jacket that the main protagonist in The Last of Us was wearing, which is it's a waxed trucker jacket. That's what they call it. It's a sharp looking jacket. And I go to look it up. It's $300. I think it's the Huckberry. It's a Huckleberry. I think it's the brand. Waxed trucker jacket. And, jeez. And it's all sold out, of course. In the color that I would want. So I got like 6 or 7 different colors. And I'd probably be an XL. Huckberry. Yes, Huckberry. Have you had any of those, Paul? Have you wore any of those? Are you on that? That's so funny. Dude, I want to buy it, but it's like, $300. But just it's a casual looking jacket. I like it. It looks nice, and it's waxed. So I never had a waxed jacket, but you know, it's a windbreak, right? And it's got I don't know, it looks stylish, and I'm like, I kind of want to try it. Be a great late winter, early fall jacket. Anyhow, I gotta let the manufacturing catch up, because apparently after The Last of Us came out, everyone started buying that jacket. Where are we heading this time? Back to Minnesota, D's. I was here in Minnesota last weekend snowmobiling, did almost 400 miles, and which was a workout. And now I'm coming back up this morning. I'm just driving up today, doing the birthday party, and today and tonight. Tomorrow, meeting up with Nuge, one of the mods, for dinner tomorrow on the way back, and be back tomorrow late, probably like midnight, 1 o'clock, and then back at it Monday. Yeah, I've not tried out Poshmark, Paul, on the Huckberry. I need to look at that, but I imagine those were selling out too. So he's persuaded by marketing. I know. At least I'll be warmer this time. Yes, it is going to be warmer. It's 35, we're above zero. Last weekend, got down to negative 25, not the wind chill, the temperature got to negative 25. Granted, I was about 2-3 hours north of Minneapolis, so there's quite a temperature change going from Minneapolis north. But yeah, I'm not going that far north. Yesterday, yeah. What did final temperature get down to? It was like negative. It was like less than negative 50, was it not? Something stupid. It's like I don't. Yeah, that just blows me away. How cold it got up there. Can you imagine losing power? That's why it's always good to have at least another alternative means of heat. Negative 108. Yeah. And then the next question is, what was the wind chill? And was the wind, because just a little bit of wind, and that will, yeah, that'll kill you. Yeah, Colby. Yeah, we're supposed to get, I think, back home tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be like 56. It's going to be nice. Pressure got so low that the atmosphere level was literally changing how much. Wow, that's insane. That is insane. You know, one of the things I've kind of learned through a couple different experiences of late. One, climbing a radio tower at negative 10 degrees with a negative 35 wind chill, and snowmobiling in negative 10, negative 12 degree, negative 15 degree weather at 80, 90 plus miles an hour is if you're dressed for it, you'll be all right. You got dressed for it. You got to be prepared for it. There was a couple months back that people on the East Coast that died in their vehicles because they got snowed in and they got stuck in their cars, couldn't get out. Nobody could get to them in time, and then they died. So, wreck. Be prepared. Blow up belt. Oh, geez, Willie, I did not hear about that. Sounds disgusting. I'll be honest. I've been in many houses where people have lots of pets living with them. Which, speaking of which, chat. I got a lot of random facts in my head right now, but if you sleep with a pet on your bed, your chances of contracting parasites that literally live in your eyeballs is like stupid high. It's crazy. I was watching this documentary on parasites that live in people's eyes. And this ophthalmologist was talking, and he says, you'd be surprised how many times he finds he can see parasites in people's eyes. And the first thing he always asks is, well, do you sleep with a cat or dog on the bed? And he says 9 times out of 10 they say, yeah, I do. It's I need to stop that. It's like, oh my gosh, it's terrible. And that same documentary went and talked about how you should never let a dog lick you, and if you do, immediately wash it. Because there's a bacteria in dog saliva that if it can in some instances can kill you if it licks an open wound or something like that. It's like, golly. Talking about this one little gal that got licked in the face, contracted some bacteria, a known common bacteria that's in the saliva of dogs, ended up losing all 4 limbs. It's like, yikes. Although rare. Don't let dogs lick your face. It's bad news. Or the open wound. Just don't let them lick it. Just lick it gently. And if you do get licked, wash your hands. Cats are evil. Speaking of cats, I got a new cat that's come by the office. Keeps on tripping all the cameras. Don't like dogs that are too jumpy. Well, I mean, you got to train dogs too, right? Dogs can be trained. Those are extreme cases, yeah, I know. Pet vets run this year's no issues. Yeah, for sure, Willie. I grew up with a cat and a dog. Horse's brother, yeah, or one of their parents. So I did something I haven't done before. Yesterday I went to a beard barber because I'm growing the beard back out. It's getting pretty thick. It hasn't been this thick for a while. I'm like, crap. I really don't know how to trim it the right way and fade it in with my haircut, especially when it starts getting longer. So I wouldn't pay for that. Got a few ideas on how I'm going to grow this sucker out. I just don't like eating my mustache. So I'm going to see how well I can grow it down. Keep it somewhat slim, but grow it down. I don't know if I'll succeed. I'm going to try it. But generally speaking, once I get to this phase, it'll start going out. which somebody sent me a video of the effect of getting punched in the face, getting punched in the face, and then the differences in energy dispersion between those people that have beards and those that do not. And it's like up to like a 15% reduction in impact to your face if you have a beard. It's like, which might not sound like a lot, but that's a lot. It's kind of crazy to think about, but having a beard actually can reduce the amount of concussion or concussive force you get from getting hit in the face. That's actually been researched, documented. So, decided to go for a mullet yet? Not yet. Not yet. Yeah, I had. So one of the things that, yeah, absolutely. There's definitely tactics for having a beard. Other than getting your freaking beard hair stuck in your stock. That's the one thing that sucks, man. I don't know what it is, but I don't know, it's my buffer tube or whatever. But I'll be practicing up, coming up and shooting and dropping it down, and it's like it'll inevitably pull a beard hair out. That freaking hurts. I have had it really long before, Willie. I had an old Facebook memory or Instagram memory pop up on my feed, and it was of me at the range, and I had my beard, and I was like, holy frick, I had that sucker long. Like, I had it down to here. Like, it was majestic, I must say. And I was like, you know what? I might want to do that again. Yes, it does rip one out, but I guess, it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, makes a man out of you. Also, since I'm going to start competing in BJJ a lot, and, nothing wrong with looking intimidating, right? Anything better than the goatee? Yeah, I won't do the goatee again. Hell, I even thought it might be kind of cool to grow my beard out, grow my hair out, really keep the same, sides and back balded, and then just grow the top really long and slick it straight back into a ponytail. Go with the whole Viking look. That might be kind of cool. Put a few braids in the beard when I get it done. Maybe get a couple tattoos. I'd probably look pretty intimidating at that point. It also signals to women you have a lot of testosterone. Jeez. Well, it's funny enough you say. There was I was watching another documentary on appearances, what people gauge about someone's appearance. And generally people, guys with beards, are generally thought to be more trustworthy than those without. For whatever reason, there's something biological in people's perception of people with beards that they're more trustworthy, mature, whatever. Whether that actually translates to being true, it's not a bad thing to emulate or put out there, if you will. That's hipster level. I mean, it can be. I can see how it could be hipster level, but if you're clean cut otherwise, I don't know. I think I might be able to pull it off. It would take a while, though. It would take a while. And one thing I hate is when my hair gets in my face, or sometimes my hair will get down to my eyebrow, because I keep it pretty long on this side, but I keep it short on this side because I do a comb over, right? I don't like it when it gets down to my eyes. And it would take a while between getting down to my eyes to be able to tie it up in the back, but I don't know. We'll see. I might do it. I might not. Next, we'll be drinking soy milk lattes and turning vegan. No. Next thing, I'll be eating raw liver and cow testicles or something. I'll be fully carnivore. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I don't think I could ever do that. No. That raw shiznit's a little weird. it's all the craze. I get to go pick up my deer, finally. That buck I shot, 150 pounds of meat, finally ready. So, gonna stock the freezer full of deer meat here next week. Another deer. I've eaten so much of that deer sausage. I mean, frick, last night, I ate half a stick of deer sausage last night for dinner. That and some chips. That was dinner. Oh, and some cottage cheese. That's kind of like my go-to. Cottage cheese, deer sausage, and a few chips before I go to bed. And a sugar-free ginger ale. I like it. Lots of protein. It's satisfying. It's good. I think it becomes hipster level if you also have other hipster traits like earrings, skinny pants, hair color, beanies. Yeah, I don't know about the earring thing. That's, maybe a nose ring, but earrings a little bit, too much. I'm kidding. I don't know if I would ever, I don't know. Here's the thing, from a practical standpoint, I just don't like having anything that can be ripped out on my person. Ugh. Not to mention, I don't personally care if the look on me, what it would look like, but I just don't like having. I mean, look, if I get into a street fight with somebody, it's life or death. Anything that I can grip and rip out of your face, I'm grabbing it. Right? I'm grabbing it. Yeah, that'd be ugly. That's a ripped out. You guys ever see the? I can't remember what the actor's name was, but not the latest Punisher series put out on Disney, but the Punisher before that. There's that scene where there's a torture scene where this guy's got all his hardware in his face. He's got like 7 or 8 lip rings, nose rings, eyebrow rings, earrings, all that kind of stuff, and he's getting tortured, and they're pulling each one out one by one. It's like, oh my gosh! I think that put me off from any type of face piercings. Yeah, no. Not John Bernthal. I always forget how to pronounce the name Bernthal, but that's the latest Punisher series, which is great, by the way. Which, by the way, he has a freaking awesome podcast. Super. I mean, he's got some pretty awesome podcasts. If you guys haven't listened to him, I mean, he's a really cool guy. But he's just very down to earth, very real with people, and brings on some pretty crazy people with some awesome, deep stories about life and stuff. It's just really good. You know, check that out. You also watch it on YouTube. Yeah, real good show. I like the last Punisher. Don't know if they're going to be rebooting that one, but no, podcast is good. Podcast is good. Other than that, kitchen's almost done. Should be done this week. So all the appliances got in: the fridge, the dishwasher, the stove, the microwave, cabinets. Now he's doing all the tile work on the backsplash and putting all the hardware into the cabinets. So that will all be done this week. I will have a fully functioning brand new kitchen. So it's I had a freezer full of deer meat. So a lot of deer tacos, deer spaghetti, deer sausage gravy. Cook it all. this year's the year. This whole company, one that comes wants to buy us. You want to take a look at our network. Schedule all that, getting taxes done. Which, by the way, is any lawyers in chat? I probably know lawyers in here. Maybe there's a bit more people watching, and I might have a lawyer. But get this: so there's what's called the employee retention credit. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but this was implemented as a COVID tax saving measure. I think initially the idea was, basically trying to give employers tax relief for companies that were experiencing downturns in business due to COVID and yet still maintain their employees. And so it's basically a tax credit for payroll taxes. And so my dad's company got approached by a firm to say, hey, and they did an audit their books. They're like, hey, we can get you X amount of dollars, which was a very large figure of employee retention credits for the past 3 years. And basically the IRS just, basically writes you a freaking check or whatever for a lot of freaking money, because my dad employs quite a few people. And so he had me look over this report, and I'm looking at this, like, holy frick, this company wants 20% of this employee retention credit, which is insane. So to put that in perspective, say you paid out $1 million in payroll taxes in the past 3 years, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to give you, or 2, 3 years, whatever it is, I don't know what it is, but we're going to give you, the IRS, like, we're going to give you $1 million because you maintain these employees and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just use it for whatever. It's like, it goes to business, and it's like, okay, which to me sounds a little weird. And then this firm wants 25% of whatever you get. So that means they get $250,000, and you get the $1 million from the IRS. I'm like, holy shiznit. And they just rinse, wash, and repeat. And all they do is they already have all the filings and the forms and the contracts in place to be able to file for this stuff for you. And that's all they do is they call up companies like, hey, we'll do a free audit of your books to see if you qualify, and then we'll help you apply for this. And by the way, we want 20% whatever you get. And in some cases, some of these companies want it up front. And it's like, holy shiznit. It just seems criminal almost. But so I'm talking to a couple tax. I've talked to several accountants. I've talked to a couple CPAs. I got a tax lawyer to meet with next week. I'm like, hey, is this something we should even be taking or applying for? Like, is 20% sound? Is that market rate for this? Because that seems obscene. And I keep on getting referred to other people. And it's like, yeah, you might want to talk to somebody else, but it's kind of outside the real. It's like, there's not a lot of people that know about this that are, and this is out there. It's like, sheesh. Crazy. You're a financial expert. I'm not a financial expert. I know enough about finances to know what I don't know. And so, thankfully I know a decent number of people in work in law, taxes, wealth management, that kind of stuff. So I'll go pick their brain. Pick their brains. It's just like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a very smart individual, right? But, he knows enough to know what he doesn't know, and he gets the people he doesn't, he gets the right people in the right positions to, take advantage of their expertise and their knowledge and go from there. And I think that's being smart. Knowing what you don't know. Because here's the thing. By just sheer osmosis of dealing with those people, you're going to get smarter too. It's just like going back to, I've used this analogy a lot in firearms. If you want to become a better firearms instructor, it's like, yeah, you go to, indoor gun range down the street where they have some 65-year-old guy that's, teaching how to handle a gun, and it's like, oh, you're hitting the target at 5 yards, great, here's a certificate. Or you can find someone renowned and reputable in the industry, some of the best in the country. Go spend your money with them, and you're gonna go from here to here overnight. I experienced this in MMA and jiu-jitsu and martial arts all the time. I got to train at a top tier level UFC gym for a couple months when I was living in Georgia at one point in time, and holy smokes, guys, my skill level in 1 month, it's just like went from white belt to black belt, I feel like, in a month, in terms of just of where I was at relatively. And it would have taken me months, if not years, elsewhere to get anywhere close to that. So it's one thing I'm also figuring out is, I don't know how long I've had this life rule, whatever, for the past, probably 7 or 8 years, where it's like, hey, if there's something I want to learn, there's something I want to get better at, it's like, find out who's the best in that discipline, who's the most knowledgeable, and see if you can pick their brain, right? Like, so one of the things I thought about doing is going to a BJJ camp, or going to a really renowned BJJ school, and going there for a week, getting a couple privates with the head instructor there, and it might cost you several $100s, but if your time's, if you think about what your time's worth, it's like, hey, it's worth it, and you're going to be that much better and that much more well-rounded, and that's more proficient in whatever you're trying to, excel in. Stand on their shoulders. I want to learn piano, but not sure I have the ability to learn it. Of course you don't have the ability to learn it, Willie. That's why you go, to develop the ability. You absolutely should want to do it. I mean, you go do that. Honestly, Willie, if I was trying to learn how to play piano from and not knowing piano, with the advent of technology anymore, you could find somebody that's a renowned piano instructor, right? Or I'm not saying you can't go local, but you find a renowned piano instructor, and you got the webcam, if you got a computer, set it up, do remote lessons, because one, you're taking advantage of technology, because technology makes acquiring that type of instruction cheaper, right? They don't have to travel, they don't have to go anywhere, they don't have to house you when you come to their house to learn piano. So you could be in Seattle learning from somebody that teaches piano out of Florida, but they're one of the best instructors around. They have not only they have the ability, but they have a good instructor. The ability to do something doesn't mean you have the ability to teach it, but if you can find someone that can meet both relatively well, golly, you do remote piano lessons, and man, you can go far. You really could go far. It's like one of the things I thought about is doing singing lessons. So I've been picking up my guitar again, and I'm trying to get my voice back, and so that music has always been a pursuit while I was a kid. I did classical piano for 9 years, and I haven't touched a piano in years, and I want to pick up the piano again at some point, but the other thing I also played quite a bit is I did bass, and I also played acoustic guitar quite a bit, and I used to, I was in a band from playing in different bands and worship teams from 16 up to like 19, 21 years old, and man, love doing that, absolutely love doing that. I would actually, one of the things I thought would be really cool is just try to, just find a group of musicians to play with again. I don't know if I necessarily want to do it in a worship context, but that was, if you've never experienced that or something like that, I highly recommend it. It's an awesome experience to develop your skills in that context. It really does push you, again, makes you better, right? Playing around with musicians that are so much better than you, but also push you, and they it's just like the whole adage, you are like the 5 people you hang around the most, or you draw from the most. And so if you want to become a better person in general, be engaged with people that are better than you in whatever aspects, or push you rather. If you're going to be super duper smart to comprehend enough to learn it looks complicated, it's not. It's just really, it's just like learning a new language, right? It just takes time, because that's what reading music is Now, reading music and playing music are not necessarily, you can excel in one without excelling in the other. It's generally, if you want to grow in your knowledge of music, your ability to play, you definitely learn to read music, but you start out simple. You'll get there. Highly encourage you to do it, Willie. Hell, you probably find a lot of intro classes just learning it. You know, my grandma, she could listen to any song and play it, you know, on the piano, like, but she couldn't read a note, not a single note. So, who knows? You might have that ability. Too shy. Yeah, Willie. Well, now's the time. Now's the time. I was listening to Jordan Peterson talking about how being exposed to stress can actually result in dormant genes expressing themselves, like in a sense. And so basically, you actually in a sense evolve by subjecting yourself to new, different, and potentially stressful situations. Like, so, you know, and stress isn't necessarily a bad thing. So learning something like piano can be stressful, right? You're pushing yourself, but you're also evolving while doing that. That's why I think you should always be learning something new. You should always be developing some skill, because you're voluntarily engaging in that stress and that while you're doing that, and it's good for our brains, it's good for our bodies, it's good for our just overall health. It also gives you something to be working towards, right? Because, you know, the second you stop learning, you're starting to die. We're all dying anyway, but you know, it's this old saying that's you know, an object in motion stays in motion. And I think the same goes for our brain. Keep your brain moving, working, engaging. So, and one of the things that I wish I did more of, I pursued more of when I was a kid is, you know, and it's a catch-22. I don't like having regrets about anything, because having regrets, don't get me wrong, we all have regrets. I have things I regret, but regret's not healthy when it starts to becoming when it starts to put you in a rut. But regret can be useful to push you to do things that you should have done to begin with, right? And so I was offered a scholarship in geology at one point. So, which, I know you think geology of all things, but I remember one year in college, I needed another science elective, and you know, I was also trying to find something to fit my schedule. It's another class load, and I'd already done biology and some of the other. I don't know if I ever did chemistry or physics. Anyhow, geology was one of the things that, you know, it was a 5 credit hour class, and it's like, all right, I can fit that in. It worked the best for my schedule, so I took a geology course, and I think I ended up with 100% in that class, because there's all these presentations you could voluntarily do for extra credit. Like, you could do a report on a project, or you could do a presentation, and he'd give you more credit for it if you did that. And the head instructor really liked me, and so he actually wanted me to meet with him and the dean of the geology or the science department. It's like, hey, really think you would really excel at this. You know, this is there for you if you want it. And I was really humbled by it. It's like, man, because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed actually. So I did a whole series of reports, and I was doing I did a couple talks on radiometric dating, and which I always thought was really fascinating. Basically, it's the way of measuring the age of different materials. Like if it's a carbon-based life form, of course, you can date those things by measuring the number, the ratio of carbon-14, which is radioactive, as it you know, over time turns into carbon-12, which is what you know as carbon dioxide. So if we know what the starting value is, relatively close, of carbon-14 that any living being has, then and then when it dies, it stops breathing, right? So it stops taking in that carbon-14, and then we can, you know, what's the half-life of carbon-14? I think it's 5,700 years. We know that pretty definitively. Well, then we can just backtrack into how old it is and when it died. And then, of course, when you get to dating rocks, now you have to use, uranium and different potassium isotopes to figure that out, and it's very interesting. So I really like studying that. I really wish I would have had time to do a science degree, but of course I was pretty committed doing the accounting stuff, which I use accounting all the time. It gave me the means to be able to be self-employed and excel at that. And so I don't regret it. I wish I had more time, but I can do it now. Hence why, again, I spent the last 4 hours, learning about rocket propulsion. And it really fascinates me, and so I think it's super interesting. I think it'd be really cool to, I think one of the coolest science experiments, again, I mentioned the October Sky deal, where they built rockets. I was like, that would be so cool to learn how to do, just have a grasp, a better understanding of the physics and mechanics and go into building a rocket. And the other thing I really want to do that's, that I'm looking forward to doing is building my first plane. So they actually have ultralights kits that you literally build the plane or sport plane from scratch, essentially. And I have a place to do it. Pretty soon I'm going to have the time to do it, and actually have the financial means to it, which is actually not that expensive. For less than $10,000, you can buy a kit for an ultralight plane or sport plane and literally build it yourself. And all the while building it, you're learning about it. You're studying and then you're putting it to practice. And that to me is so cool. It is never too late, Dee-Dee's. It isn't, which is why I'm making steps to try to do some of these things. Well, you could have been a great geologist, not too late. Yes, I know. Thank you. Really. Well, to be honest, it wasn't. Being a geologist wasn't. It's not like I want to be a geologist one day. It's the scientific method, the learning about these, because there's a lot of chemistry involved in studying geology, and some physics and whatnot, talking about how, plane track, plane ultralight. Where'd you learn to cut your hair, and how often do you do it? So, honestly, I watched a few videos years ago on how to do it, and then I just started doing it on my own, and just lots of trial and error. Thank you guys for the notification that we're back, because all I see is that there's a message that says low data, and I don't know if it's so low that we're really gone, or if it's just coming through really bad bit rate. But thank you. Lots of trial and error, man. Lots of trial and error. But now I get to the point where I can do it in less than 10 minutes. Now that's for my specific hairstyle. And the reason, so it's this hairstyle is pretty easy to do, because I take balding clippers, and I usually come at about here, then I just bald it, right? So balding clippers all the way around. I make a line all the way around my head. Then once I get that done, then I will, I don't know what they call it, but it's called like feathering, where you basically take the clipper, you put it into your head, and then you roll it, and it helps. It just automatically puts a fade in it. And I'll take regular clippers at their lowest setting, and then start doing the same thing, and then roll it and feather it in, and then I'll take scissors and just kind of clean up the fade on either side, and that's about it. The rear is kind of the most difficult to do, but if you got a mirror on the wall and a handheld mirror in front of you, and you get pretty comfortable doing your own. So you got to be willing to make a mistake. So the worst case scenario is you get a buzz trap, or you wear a hat for a little bit. That's the worst that can happen. But man, I can't begin to imagine how much money I've saved. If I would have gotten a haircut every week, let's just say every 2 weeks, I would have got a haircut. And a haircut nowadays, after a tip, is like $20 to $30, depending on where you go. Let's be conservative and say 20. If you go to a barber shop, you're probably going to pay 20. If you go to like a sports clips, you're going to spend like 30. Let's just say 20. That's $40 a month. It's $480 a year. That's over $2,000 every 5 years. Or wait a minute, what did I say? 40, 480. Every 4 years, it's $2,000. Then you multiply multiply that by, say, 8 years, which I've been doing it. I come out here for 8 years. Holy crap. Good chunk of money. And also time. I don't have to drive anywhere. Just do it myself. Weren't you going to get a skydiving license too? Yes, that is the plan. This is skydiving license. Pilot license, skydiving license. Yes, all that. Coming on here, I figure I've got no one to blame myself. Exactly, Dee-Dee's. Shut down time to learn how to give myself a fade. Haven't been to the barbecue. Good for you, Derek. Good for you. Although I've been criticized, I had one person comment that on my YouTube channel. I put it on Discord. It was several days ago. Someone commented on one of my last live streams that what did they say? Aren't you, something to the fact, aren't you too old for that haircut? And I was like, I don't think I've ever been called too old for this haircut. That was the first. I did start noticing I got a couple gray hair, beard hairs in my beard, so I guess maybe I am getting too old for this haircut. I don't know. It's kind of weird having some white beard hairs in here. I don't care. If I get a little, peppered look in my beard, it'll match my shirt. It's good stuff. Yeah, distinguished, exactly. My grandpa, man, he didn't have his first gray hair on his head until I think he was like 60-something. That combined with my mom's side of the family, Asian genes, I would hope I aged pretty well. But let me tell you, if I went clean shaven, chat, I would look like I was early 20s probably. They can get away with it, yeah. I guess we can get away with it a little bit better than we can. Are we headed to Lamar's? No. Headed to Minnesota. Headed to Minnesota. Got 2 hours left. Actually, am I in Minnesota now? I don't think I've crossed the border yet. I didn't pay attention. Wow, they've already been streaming for an hour. You guys make me talk for a whole hour straight. Time's flying by. Nope, I haven't had a donut. I had a donut last weekend. Had one donut last weekend at a gas station when we stopped at go snowmobiling. Were you just there? Yes, I was there last weekend. Snowmobiling. So headed back up there. Which ain't a bad drive. I mean, I think it's 500 miles. It's 1,000 miles round trip. What does that come out to? 1,000 miles divided by an average of 16 miles a gallon times $3 a gallon. 180 bucks in fuel. It's not terrible. Like I said, I use the driving as an excuse to listen to podcasts, videos, whatever I want to learn about. So it's all good. There you go, Emily. Whereabouts are you at? It's one thing I also wish I would have done. My sister, she competes in dressage and been riding for years. She's got a couple of horses herself. I really wish I would have. She moved to Oregon this past year. I really wish I would have went out and went riding with her a bit more and learned how to ride a horse better. But when she moves back, I'll be sure to do that. Nothing on the bucket list. do this drive every month for work. On the bright side, it is just a straight shot. Straight shot. No highway changes at all. It's just literally I-35 from Kansas City all the way up to Minneapolis. 70 miles an hour. It is a bit boring. Like I said, that's why I use that opportunity to listen to podcasts and stuff. Make it an educational time. Shoot down a spy balloon, you'd have to have a rocket. You'd have to have a missile or something like that to get up that high. It's a long, that's way up there, man. Yeah, how high did they say that balloon was? It's like at 30,000 feet or something, isn't it? Like it's up there. It's like 6 miles, guys. Straight up. Good long ways. 60,000? Jeez. Yeah, that's high. Yeah, I don't think a javelin's gonna get up there. Maybe. I don't think so. I'm no expert on javelin missiles, but no expert on javelins. Really, track days. Interesting. Now they're going to take care of it. Like, why the delay? Look, I'm sure the government knows exactly what it is, exactly what they're doing. If not, I imagine they would want to recover it. I don't know how you would recover something at that height. I don't know. See if they can shoot a laser at it, the balloon, let it drift down, then recover it. Yeah, I know, track. I don't know. Like I said, there's something. There's more to that whole story than what we're being privy to. I guarantee it. made it to Minnesota. Got about an hour and 40 minutes left. So we have a great weekend. Learn something new. Work out. Knock out a project. Use your time off. It's an opportunity to get ahead. So we'll catch you guys later.